Hello and welcome back. Thanks for being here and thank you for being with me. And at this point, we're just about to start the section on finding strengths. And like I mentioned before, when you looked at the PERMA model, the engagement aspect is really about focusing strengths, knowing strengths, applying strengths. So you're like, okay, that's fantastic. I don't even know what my strengths are. There are many resources on finding your strengths. As I mentioned, and on the next slide, there is the URL for the Gallup Strength Finder Clifton protocol framework for finding strengths. But I will share with you some questions that can prepare you for the next slide, which has all the strengths and how they're listed. And we'll spend some time talking about that. So here's some questions. And this is the exercise that you can actually start thinking about. Strength finding questions. Before we actually expose what the strengths are, I'd like to try to make up some of these words yourself. It doesn't matter. You can pause, you can answer these questions. So let's begin. What brings positive energy into your life? What brings positive energy into your life? When are you self-disciplined? When are you self-disciplined? Where do you feel calm and productive? Where do you feel calm and productive? When do you lose track of time? We talked about flow. When do you lose track of time? What activities can you not wait to do again? You're doing something, you're like, wow, I've lost track of time. I felt really comfortable doing that. I really can't wait to do that again. What does your attention naturally focus on? What does your attention naturally focus on? Looking back at your career and some of your skills and your passions and hobbies, what have you learned quickly, catching on with minimal effort? So some things come to us easy, some things, no matter how hard we try, we just can't wrap our heads around them. What are some of these things that you learn quickly and you caught on really fast? And what are you looking forward to in the future? Here we go. Strengths. And you'll find them down at gallupstrengthfinder.com. So the main 4 pillars are execution, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And under each one of these are the specific strengths. So I'm just going to keep the slide up. I'm going to read through some of them. Achievement, arrangement, consistency, discipline, focus, making things happen. That's execution. Some people are just fantastic executors. Just so you know, achievement and focus are 2 of my strengths, and they're in the execution pillar or domain. Second, influencing, right? So speaking up, taking charge. The team feel they're heard. The team feel if they're in the presence of someone with influencing as one of the domains, they feel they're heard. So activator, command, communications, maximizer, significance, social, it's called winning over others, right? That's influencing. Some people are just great. They're just amazing salespeople. It just comes to them naturally. While others, they just can't do it. They're just much better at executing or at relationship building. So that's the next one. Relationship building, building strong relationships, holding the team together. Things like adaptability, connection, empathy, harmony, positivity, relating. So again, to give you an example from me, one of my strengths is relating, relationship building. I'm good at relating to others, hence my vocation and purpose as a coach and as somebody who's in education and somebody who's very passionate about creating a positive change and creative change really comes from the strength of relating to others and bringing people together, right? The last one is strategic thinking. So this is the capacity to absorb, to analyze, to come up with new possibilities. And again, analysis, futurism, ideation, intellection, learning, strategic thinking. All of these fall in the strategic thinking domain. This is just an example of what the 34 strengths are, where they fit on each one of these domains, and just a little simple understanding of what it means. So executing is making things happen. Influencing is speaking up, taking charge. Relationship building is building strong relationships. Strategic thinking is the ability to absorb, to analyze, and then come up with new possibilities. Just from this and from the slide before, you can start to get a feel for what your strengths may be. And like I said, I totally suggest and recommend that you go online and take the actual test. It's not that expensive. I think it's probably $15 or $20, and it's really worth it. I think millions of people have actually taken the test. And it's a really good way for you to know what your strengths are. And if you even have the inclination to, you can tell your team to do it as well. And then that's really interesting when you start to compare and communicate. And you're like, oh, my top 5 strengths are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're like, oh, well, my top strengths are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's really interesting. It's like when you start to use enabling language and to use examples like, I see why you're such a great salesperson. It's because you're just such an amazing communicator, and you have self-assurance, and you're also able to, activate. Or you come to somebody else and tell them, it's incredible how you're so good at relating to others, and I can see why you're adaptable and you're empathic, and you can also, you're positive and you can relate to people. No wonder, you're good at relationship building. No wonder you make such a great leader. These little things in our workplace can make huge differences in our productivity, in our collaboration, in our effectiveness, in our relationships, in positive emotion. We'll go back to the PERMA model. In all of these things, when we become aware of our own strengths and we become of others' strengths, and then we have the courage and the transparency to communicate and share, and then point out, it's like, yeah, that's him, that's what he's doing, and then appreciate and enable based on that, it's magical. It's really, really, really transformative. So, thank you very, very much for your attention. I think this is a very, very important part of this course, just to become aware of what strengths are, what your strengths are. And like I said, I totally suggest that you go online and take the test. If not, then this is enough for you just to get a feel for where you are. Share it and try to apply it. Here's a wonderful quote by Dr. Martin Seligman, which is, one of the most significant findings in psychology in the last 20 years is that individuals can choose the way they think. Go back. Remember, you become what you think about. You become what you think about. And here is Dr. Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, saying, one of the most significant findings in psychology in the last 20 years is that individuals can choose the way they think. So choose how you think and make sure that you're thinking positive and you're activating those incredible images in your mind that create a compelling future, that pull you forward and motivate you, and learn to discern, like we said, and be clear of who your true authentic self is and what is not important or necessary to focus on. So thank you very, very much for your time and for your attention. And in the next section, we're going to talk about some of the tools that positive psychology tools that we can use at work to make our jobs more effective, our teams more collaborative, and definitely bring in some of the ways that we can use some of these strengths and some of the things in the PERMA model and apply them in our work. So I'll see you there.